Welcome to Comics League. I'm Jared, and today we are going to be discussing a very not well known topic, but an actually very interesting topic with lots of history behind it. We're going to be talking about the children of Superman and Wonder Woman. Now, yes, they have. Even though they were officially main continuity a couple in New 52, they didn't have kids in that timeline. But there were past pre-New 52 timelines where they established that they have kids together. So let's get started, shall we? So the first one that I actually really want to talk about is Kingdom Come. And we covered this storyline earlier on the channel. In this storyline, it's established that Superman and Wonder Woman are together. I'm just going to the part of the book. And Superman does get her pregnant, and then she ends up giving birth to a son named Jonathan. And I'll get to this. So this is that part in the comic when Jonathan is born. And there you go. And then you can see the Leaguers celebrating the birth of Superman and Wonder Woman's son. So that's that part. Then he grows up. Eventually, this starts a whole storyline where they have to team up with because remember at the time, Kingdom Come was going to be the future of the DC universe. That's even more like DC really wanted Superman and Wonder Woman to be together. But remember, Kingdom Come is going to be the future of the DC universe. So Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman had to team up with their past selves through time travel BS in order to defeat Magog, who had kidnapped Superman and Wonder Woman's son. And this is depicted in Mark Waid's The Kingdom. It doesn't have Alex Ross's art, so it's not as good as it could be. So Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman go and recruit Superman from the past because Magog was after him, and then they end up in this area called Hyper Time, which is like, think of it as like the Speed Force, in that it's like the time between time, in other words. And they actually meet Jonathan, who becomes Hyperman, and I'll get the actual visual on the screen for you right now. So this is Hyperman right there. He's essentially even more of a god than his father is. And he has, I believe he has time travel powers and all that. And he's all-knowing, omnipotent and all that. So that's the Kingdom Come universe. Now remember, it wasn't always Earth 22. Because back then, I believe there was no multiverse. The multiverse didn't come back until Infinite Crisis. It was destroyed in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So at this point, Kingdom Come was the future of the DC universe. In fact, they sort of like reference to this in The Kingdom, which I'm gonna try and see if I can find it in a trade version. And what would happen is so if it's the future, because there's only one Earth, this has to be the future, because there was no Earth 22. It wasn't until Crisis on Infinite Earths where they kind of established that it was that it was on its own separate Earth, and thus a different continuity. The next one actually is not a well-known storyline, but it's a really cool storyline nonetheless that I want to get the single issues of. It's called JLA Act of God. Now, in this storyline, it's really cool. So in this storyline, there's like a meteorite or a comet or something. It's written by Doug Moranch and art by David Ross. I guarantee you at some point, Lana and I are going to cover this on the podcast because it's so good. So in this one, so the Justice League are doing their Justice League things. And then a comet passes by Earth and strips all the metahumans of their powers. Like, even here's the funny part. The Green Lantern ring thing shouldn't work because it's like Green Lantern and Captain Marvel shouldn't like lose their powers because they get powers through other ways. But the point is, for the purposes of the story, it's cool. All the metahumans lose their powers. Maybe wonder what happens to Jean. He reverts back into the Martian form, which is not like that scary form from like Young Justice, scary as in cool. I mean, like the part with the elongated head, kind of like what he had in the DCAU. So all the superheroes lose their powers. Like Flash can't stop people, Aquaman can't breathe underwater, Superman can't fly or have super strength. Green Lantern can't do anything. So it's showing that idea. And Wonder Woman loses her powers. And Superman goes through an existential crisis because actually all the superheroes go through an existential crisis because they're like, they start to think that maybe we were too big on our laurels being these gods removed from men, that God decided to essentially bring us down to earth. So that's essentially the essential tenet of the storyline. And Batman actually turns the depowered Justice League into a new version of Justice League with no powers. He just trains them like he essentially to fight like he does with no powers, but like martial arts skills and weapons and such. Next up, so actually we're still going on. So Superman goes to an even more of an existential crisis because for a long time he felt he was defined by his powers. He doesn't have them anymore. So he goes to like a depressing, a bit of depression, and Lois Lane ends up leaving him because he's like all down and she can't help him. So at that point, hang on, I'm getting to that part in the storyline. I'm using the DC Universe app as kind of like an outline for what I want to talk about. So basically what it turns into is anyone that tries to be a superhero again dies, sort of like Kyle Rayner and Steel die. So there's that. So then we have, I'm trying to get this. Booster Gold can still use his powers because he's more of a tech-based guy. It's not necessarily like Clark. So anyway, Lois Lane leaves Clark Kent, and then Clark actually goes to Diana, and they end up starting a relationship because they figure, hey, you can. We essentially understand what they're going through, because remember, Superman and Wonder Woman are the strongest DC heroes. Strongest superheroes in general is what I would say. Like just the two of them could essentially solo the Avengers, either one of them really. So anyway, they decided that since they both understand that loss so much, they might as well take comfort in each other. So then Superman still goes through he's still going through this bit of who am I, what am I, I'm not like this superhero anymore. And I'm getting to that part, hang on. And so Superman goes out for like I think a month or so and ends up and Ray Palmer shrinks, but his thing gets hurt, so he keeps shrinking. So anyway, actually it explodes. So anyway, let's see. I'm getting to that point. So okay, so Clark leaves. And he kind of becomes a little bit of an alcoholic. So he's hit rock bottom at this point. And eventually, Clark has like a time where he goes to like a Catholic priest, and he basically has sort of like that scene in Man of Steel where he consults with the priest. The priest tells him you have so much to live for, don't throw it away. And then Clark remembers what it was like to be Superman, so he gets even more depressed. And then he basically goes away and to like this cabin for like, I believe like a couple of weeks. And like he's gone for like long enough to grow a really nice beard. I'm trying to get that visual real quick for that. Okay, here he is. He has a pretty dope lumberjack beard. I'm trying to get this shared. Okay, so here's JLA Act of God. So he has this dope lumberjack beard, and that's what I was talking about. What happens to Jean? He reverts back to his Martian form. So, and and so Clark, Jean basically helps inspire Clark to push past his depression and eventually find peace. He goes back to Diana, and she reveals that she is pregnant. And then what's actually kind of cool is it turns out Superman and Wonder Woman's kid has powers. So powers are starting to return back into the universe. So it's a way of like the superheroes get to start anew, except with this new generation of heroes. They don't really indicate the name of this child, but they do realize that this kid's going to be super powerful. So that's the next kid. I'm debating if I should include Hunter Prince, because here's the thing: Hunter Prince was not created from the union of Superman and Wonder Woman. He was essentially the son of Wonder Woman. He had no father. It's kind of like how Anakin had no father. It was just she as a Shmi just got pregnant. That's generally the way it works. Is that so? Hunter Prince. There was this darkness that was spreading throughout the galaxy. It impregnated Wonder Woman, and the reason why she sent him away to live with Clark is because she was succumbing to the darkness and she didn't want to hurt her kid. So anyway, he goes to live with Clark, who's married to Lois and has Jonathan. So that's essentially where that comes from. Then the next group that I'm going to talk about is the Dark Knight Returns universe. So in this one, we have Lara Kent, who was introduced in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Strikes Again, the worst book of the Dark Knight trilogy. Well, at this time, many bookology, if you will. And I'm getting to that actual part. Give me 1 second. So yeah, here's Lara right here. And then she essentially goes through over the course of 3 books: Dark Knight Strikes Again, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, and Dark Knight Returns, The Golden Child. She goes through this sort of evolution and character arc where because she starts off, because she's Kryptonian, seeing human beings as beneath her. But with the example of Superman and Wonder Woman and the other heroes and such, she's able to see that, no, there is value in mankind and we have to protect them. Like she helps Superman beat Kryptonians after she joins them briefly, because she sees Kryptonians as the pinnacle of evolution, I guess. And then in The Golden Child, we see the Dark Knight Returns version of Jonathan, art by Raphael Grandpa, right there. That's Jonathan. And he and Lara have this conversation in this book where she's talking about how beneath them humans are, but John is more of the Clark Kent, and he's like, well, the dialects, and we have to be able to protect them and such, and use their powers to protect them. And then they eventually fight Darkseid and I believe defeat him in order to depower Darkseid. So yeah, Superman and Wonder Woman's kids fight Darkseid. So that's essentially the kids of Superman and Wonder Woman. Actually, I believe there is a universe, hang on, because there is a storyline, I think it's in the Batman Beyond comics, where our Wonder Woman ends up in a marriage to Lord Superman of the Justice Lords, and they actually have a kid together. In other words, the regular Wonder Woman, in other words, Prime Earth Wonder Woman, gets into a relationship with Lord Superman of the Justice Lord's Earth, where the Justice League became essentially dictators. The reason why she married him is because otherwise he would burn the world down. So I'm pretty sure that they had a son. Yes, they did. So the kid's name is actually Zod. So Zod is the genetic offspring of Superman, the Justice Lord one, and Wonder Woman, who was raised in the Phantom Zone by Jax Ur. So that's essentially, so Zod in this universe is actually the kid of Superman and Wonder Woman, except the Superman's kind of evil. And so we have many different, and I limited this video just to the ones that he actually had with Wonder Woman, not like Hunter Prince, because once again, Hunter Prince was not formed by them getting together. Superman has had other kids before, but he's actually the one person to have had children with Wonder Woman. The only main continuity character in the to have had kids with Wonder Woman. Because I know you have alternate universes, but I believe he was the first. And Superman has had other kids like Lara Kent from the Injustice games, which it's pretty obvious that's Sasha Kaye Supergirl is based after. I'm going to share the screen so you can see this version of Supergirl. Yeah, right there. Also, kind of like a established-ish is that Superman does, Wonder Woman does love Superman in, what is it, in Red Sun, but he's so blind by power, he doesn't see it. I don't know how you can miss Wonder Woman, but there you go. So those are the kids of Superman and Wonder Woman, and that's really where I'm going to leave it, because there's because here's the thing. Like I've argued in all of our Super Wonder episodes, this pairing is very unexplored, because according to reports, according to like rumors and stuff, Donna Troy, New 52 Donna Troy, was going to be the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman. In other words, if the Super Wonder relationship in the New 52 had not been sabotaged, if they had been allowed to get married, because that's obviously the direction they were going, they were going to have Donna Troy, and Donna Troy would be the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman, which I think would have actually been a really cool way to link Donna Troy to Wonder Woman, instead of the way they did it in the New 52, where it's like she's made from the remains of Hippolyta. It was kind of weird. But so that's where I am going to leave it. So in case you guys are wondering where the idea for this episode came in, that was actually the recommendation of a fan. So I'm going to find that fan to give them a proper shout out. That was, I believe it was Rahul Ryan. Let me see here. Yes, or Rahul Ryan, if I'm pronouncing your name right. If not, sorry, but if I am, great. Thank you very much for suggesting this week's video topic. If you guys have any ideas on stuff that you want to see on the podcast, drop a comment. And the way this podcast works is that, yes, we have episodes that topics that we have planned, but whenever you suggest a video topic, that overrides what we do. In other words, we essentially accommodate the content that you guys want to see, because ultimately you are the ones that are going to watch the video. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay heroic, everyone. Bye-bye.